breaking news for your head tops. Myself and my main G, Rambo, are starting up a new sports podcast by the name of Park the Bus. Literally on a bus. It's gonna be insane. The guests that we have got lined up for this are genuinely gonna be sick. You can check out a link to it down in the description below. Content will be starting within the next week, so go and check it out. Now though, let's get on with the video. Ah yeah, nah sound mate, no problems there at all. Oh yeah, FTW's here to bring you results and scores. Today's a big one. Pause. Yo guys, it is your boy, dangling perilously over the possibility of a deteriorating trim near and near. He's getting out of hand now. And you are watching Football This Week, the series where I bring to you Football This Week, basically. No, thank you very much. You don't have to. I've been locked down, alright? We've all been locked down. Has anything actually happened in any of our personal lives? I went to the shops. Don't get it twisted. It was good, alright? The walk was okay. But the adrenaline, it just wasn't there. Wasn't really pumping. It's been a significantly worse week for Donald Trump. He appears to be blocked off every single platform in the known universe. I'd genuinely not even be surprised if MSN came out this week and said something similar. Suck your hand, fam. This man's phone is literally a door wedge now. And listen, he can hold an L on this one as well. You're not watching FTW, sunshine. It was, however, a magical week of English football, at least, with the FA Cup in full third round swing. 8th tier Merseysiders Marine took on Premier League European challengers Spurs in a game dubbed as the most one-sided fixture of all time, second only to any fixture that involves Newcastle United. The scene was set. The neighbours were primed and watching the game in their back gardens, blasting 3 lines for most of the game, apparently. Others, however, were not so prepared. Some had to get a little bit inventive under the circumstances. Even Tarzan heard about this one and needed to get involved. All of this to watch people who genuinely have to prioritise cleaning windows in their full-time jobs to playing actual football. One of their wingers is literally a bin man, sweeping up behind a striker. You could argue. Nah, listen, that was good. This is outrageous. These lot have managed to get to the third round of the FA Cup. They probably go to training in their lunch breaks. And then I was like, yeah, nah, mate, that's Steve from accounts job. Am I right? Yeah, mate, it's an absolute shocker. Can't even lie to you. Also, man on. It's just a thing of beauty. These lot went to the co-op to get the beers in after their last victory in round 2. I guess you could argue a fixture against Spurs is therefore somewhat of a supermarket derby. Let's go! This whole thing is truly what football is all about. David versus Goliath. And David getting absolutely annihilated. It was a 5-0 victory in the end for Spurs, but honestly, the spectacle itself was brilliant. Seeing Gareth Bale play in the back garden of a 2-bed, semi-detached property in Merseyside is something I never realised I needed. Someone actually tweeted about being able to watch him from their window. He replied, naturally, Jurgen Klopp was in attendance in the form of a cardboard cutout. We probably wouldn't even have won against these lot based on current form. Well, you know, the boys like the privacy, and there was a couple people watching from their window. It put us off our game, really. I'm still trying to get over this. Gareth Bale played here at a ground where VAR is just the linesman drawing what he thinks he saw. Goal line technology is just a Logitech C920 dangling from the crossbar. On loan, Tottenham striker Vinicius got himself a brace after Marine actually pretty valiantly held on for the first 25 minutes. He got rinsed for doing the Mbappe celebration, but apparently he's been doing this since he was like a youth academy player, so I think we'll let him off. What we won't, however, let him off doing is yamming the ball in at terminal velocity, given it was already on the goal line for his first. To be fair, Timo Werner's still missing this opportunity, so calm down, lad. You're playing against part-time doctors. This is one instance where maybe clapping for an NHS worker would actually be useful. The Marine admin, however, was loving life. They tweeted about an early Jedson Fernandez effort which almost struck him in the face, and revealed that talks had taken place race between them and Mesut Ozil to get him involved in the game for them. Good luck with that. The guy's been on furlough for a year and a half. One of my moments of the game, whilst it was still 0-0, Marine forward Neil Kengley struck an unbelievable effort that rattled off the crossbar from 35 yards. If it goes in, it's the best goal in footballing history ever. Poor Joe Hart, man, he's gone from Head and Shoulders adverts to this, which, thinking about it, isn't really much of a fall from grace, but props to Marine, man. Each and every single player in that starting 11 and the guys that came off the bench played their hearts out. I don't even mean that in a condescending fashion. They genuinely gave a great account of themselves, and I'm hoping they go on to do very well in their own league season. Elsewhere in the cup, and Liverpool faced Aston Villa, a side ravaged. I can't say the word ravaged, that just sounds like some madness. A side weakened severely by COVID. It meant the youth squad were out in full force for the side in claret and blue, and we still struggled. 4-1 was the final score in favour of Liverpool, but it doesn't really tell the full story. Mo Salah, Sadio Mane and co started, which seems very unfair when we were up against a team of secondary school students. Even then, we conceded an equaliser at the end of the first half. Lewis Barry scored it. His old tweets really telling the story of this one. We did eventually retake the lead. Liverpool, the underdogs, the magic of the FA Cup. Listen, we needed Thiago to break down an under-14 squad to score a second goal against a team that was dropped off by their parents at the stadium. We've given them less of a test than their mock exams are gonna be next weekend. For 10 marks, describe and explain why Liverpool are so shit. The Sky app didn't even know who any of them were. That's unknown into unknown. Oh my good, what a hit from unknown. These lot have played more times for Exeter City on loan than for Aston Villa. The fact of the matter is, we were basically playing against a team of kids and we couldn't finish our dinner. Now, you see now, Marcus, I see what's happened here, but you don't need to get involved. I can imagine he was celebrating fiercely when he realised they were going to be able to spend a goal bonus on some Kinder Buenos back in year 7. Meanwhile, we're getting rouletted by people who aren't even old enough to use an actual roulette table. Liverpool are through though to the 4th round, and against all the odds, so are Crawley Town after a 3-0 thumping of Premier League Leeds United. Leeds were genuinely awful. Like, this is a shocking result. Questions need to be asked of the manager, like how majestic is his crouching technique? I do love Marcelo Bielsa, I think he's a class manager, but we can't just allow this because he sits on a bucket from time to time. Oh wow, tactical masterclass. Genius. Wow, how was he come up with the calf? Imagine you're losing 3-0 to a League 2 side and they bring on a Don from The Only Way is Essex. It's an absolute violation from Crawley Town, and quite frankly, they're getting a shithousery award for it. Meanwhile, there were scenes at Stockport as fireworks halted their game versus West Ham United. Ooh, ah. It was actually a really brilliant gesture from Stockport fans to raise awareness for a 15-year-old kid who was injured in a road accident this month. And, well, Mike Dean and Mark Noble were certainly enjoying them. It did, however, take an 83rd minute winner for West Ham to get victory over a manager who's been refusing to do interviews with Sky Sports because they haven't fixed his Sky TV box for months. At what point do you just get a Virgin Media box, realistically? So what exactly went wrong for you today? Well, maybe I'd have been able to do my research on the team if I could have watched them on my broken Sky TV box. Jim, it's been 3 years. Let it go. Hello all and welcome to The Beautiful Game. The segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Para continuar também a engrossar o topo da lista dos melhores marcadores, aquela recepção, remate fácil de...
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Over in Europe, and Neymar's been active on his Insta... Oh, I swear to God, listen, this guy, 1 week, man. Now, this is actually a statement of intent to Maurizio Pochettino. You can come into PSG, but I'm gonna cut that one there. This guy's gonna have to integrate a no shag back clause into this Donny's contract. It's crazy. His mum's TikTok ex must be reeling, sort of. I mean, they always have the same emotion for everything. I can't tell whether he's happy or whether he's depressed. Over in Spain, and specifically Madrid, there's been a bout of very uncharacteristic heavy snow in the Spanish capital. Eden Hazard was enjoying it, chucking snowballs at a cameraman. That's probably the most accurate he's been with anything since 2018. Meanwhile, after being snowed in ahead of a crucial journey for an Atletico game, Yannick Carrasco had to ask his neighbour whether he could borrow his Fiat Panda to drive not only himself but his teammates to the game, which I just find absolutely outstanding. Over in France, and Monaco's Russian midfielder Alexander Golovin had an instant impact off the bench. Meanwhile, over in Italy, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic has got some slightly unconventional warm-up routines. Bro, we get it. You're agile. I'm trying to do my hamstrings here, though. Meanwhile, over in Germany, and Bundesliga strugglers Schalke won for the first time in 30 league games with a 4-0 victory over Hoffenheim. Honestly, fair play for carrying on after that long, because at that point, you're basically members of the crowd. The attendance for today is 37,000 plus 11 Schalke players. It gets to a stage where the ball boys are more likely to come out of the ground victorious than you are. Their admin was loving life, though, after a very convincing victory. To be honest, it doesn't even make any sense. How can you go 30 games in a league without winning, without getting relegated from that league? Speaking of clubs who haven't won for a while, though, and Sheffield United got their first victory of the season with a 1-0 win over Newcastle, who thoroughly deserved it for parking 5 at the back versus a team with less points than a 4. Meanwhile, at the other end of the table, and literally as I'm commentating this video, Manchester United have gone top of the Premier League with a 1-0 victory over Burnley. How have we allowed a personal trainer to go top of the Premier League? Do we not have any shame? Over in Wales, and Wilfred Boney appears to be training with Newport County. Meanwhile, in the news this week, and Arsenal received an official bank loan to help combat the issue of COVID. Are you telling me the UK taxpayers pump more money into this club than Stan Kroenke has? I've basically just contributed to them signing Houssem Aouar. Up in Scotland, and Celtic are in the mud after travelling to Dubai for a training camp. I don't get it. You've just lost the Old Firm derby. Your fans aren't happy. There's literally a pandemic going on, and you think the best idea is to go to Dubai. Is it not already bad enough that they're getting coached by a guy who's just gonna plug FIFA tactics in for the next game? Meanwhile, over at Aberdeen,
Aberdeen's Johnny Hayes was on the score sheet the last time.
Now, Tottenham centre-back Toby Alderweireld opened up a competition for youngsters to try and draw him, and whichever was the best would be used as his profile picture. In the end, it was this drawing that took the top spot from one of the competition's youngest entrants. A brilliant moment and an opportunity for a young Tottenham fan to get his art shared by the centre-back. But ultimately, it's terrible. But from the pad to the pitch, and this 6-year-old is looking pretty talented as well. Listen, if you see me forcing my 2 kids to do the bleep test aged 4, don't snitch, okay? I'm just Project Mbappe's in full flow. Imagine you're in such a situation, your hair started falling off the back of your head. This is stress. Over in Brazil, and we had some pretty cynical obstruction from a manager.
Ação do Vitor Ferraz. Não deixa o Osvaldo passar. E agora os jogadores do Fortaleza.
Yeah, listen, you're the coach. You can't actually get involved in the game. That's not how this... What? I never knew that. I never knew. Meanwhile, MMA legend Khabib Nurmagomedov was getting involved in a little bit of six-a-side action over the course of the week. Turns out maybe he's in the wrong profession. This guy's genuinely got the pace of Dan James and more footballing ability than Dan James. Now though, it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And in these difficult times, clubs have started to get a little bit creative with their training techniques. Maybe you can't get everyone onto the training pitch, so instead you find a explosive alternative. How is this even practical? Who even has a cannon lying around? Onto the weird stuff though now. Over in Japan, and 53-year-old Yokohama FC footballer Kazuyoshi Miura has signed yet another one-year extension to compete in the top tier of Japanese football. If you get outpaced by him, you simply have to pack your bags and move to a different area of the country. I don't make the rules. One delivery man found himself looking at a parcel and a name that he found slightly familiar. When he turned up at the house, he realized his gut feeling was correct, and he delivered a parcel to former Everton and Nigerian international striker Yakubu. I mean, he had to get a picture. Come on, that's outrageous. Over in Turkey, we've got some slightly suspicious use of VAR in a game between Fenerbahce and Antalyaspor. But we end on two pieces of contrasting news this week. First of all, there's the news that current Cardiff defender Sol Bamba has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma. He's going to go through chemotherapy during the course of the next months. Obviously, my thoughts go out to him and his family during what can only be a ridiculously difficult time, wishing him a speedy recovery. But with a feel-good story to end things off, there was the brilliant character arc of Declan Thompson this week, a young Sheffield Wednesday footballer who'd actually been diagnosed with Perthes disease as a youngster and spent ages, basically most of his childhood, in a wheelchair. He was told he might not be able to walk by doctors, and this week he made his debut for the Owls, which is brilliant. I'm very happy for him. It must have been very emotional watching on as a family member, so further good luck to him going forward. I'm sure he'll smash it. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.